Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the second session of the NRAI Insider's Guide to F&B powered by Paid Puja. This session is on how to create a digital marketing strategy. For those of you who joined us last month in the session with Alex Valadrez, you'll recall that we covered various aspects of online and offline marketing, both in the dine-in and delivery space. Today's session is going to deep dive further into one of these aspects, which is digital marketing. Now, we all know that we can't keep our businesses away from the digital world and the internet, especially since COVID. So, the idea of today's session was to share some best practices and also learn how to go about creating an effective strategy in the first place. And to do this, we have with us Sunaina Basu, who is the co founder of Rafiki Marketing. She's at the helm of their performance marketing practice and has spearheaded Rafiki's growth within this space over the past 4 years, onboarding over 80 plus brands. She's a firm believer in using data to drive business decisions and is on a constant quest to optimize clients' marketing campaigns. And I can vouch for that because we do work with Rafiki. Sunaina studied at Tufts University and graduated with a BSc in psychology. She's worked in the marketing industry for over 4 years in the US and India with a focus on strategic performance marketing for both B2B and B2C clients. She's even taught a search engine marketing class at the Indian Institute of Digital Education and was part of Cohort 9 for Goldman Sachs 10K Women's Program in collaboration with IIMB. We also have joining us today Sheval Desai, who is the Chief Growth Officer at Paid Puja. He's been a part of the team for over 6 years, overseeing Paid Puja's journey from 1,000 to 35,000 plus restaurants. By education, he's a mechanical engineer and financial analyst and has experience in varied fields ranging from finance to agriculture and now, of course, technology. At Paid Puja, Sheval's teams have been instrumental in launching several new products, including the kiosk, waiter calling device, and now Tweetle. We'll be hearing more about this from Sheval later today. So please keep posting your questions for Sunaina and Sheval in the chat section as and when you think of any, and we'll be taking them at the end of their presentations. Over to you, Sunaina.
Great. Thank you, Gauri. I'm just going to share my screen. Cool. So today we'll go through, how you can unlock the power of digital marketing for your restaurant and delivery kitchen. As Gauri mentioned, I am one of the co-founders of Rafiki Marketing. We have two core practices, both in content marketing and performance marketing. So I will be shedding light on both of those throughout our presentation. So this is just a little bit of our agenda, what goes into the digital marketing mix, how can you actually time out your digital marketing strategy, easy ways to get started, and I will shed some light on the different aspects of digital marketing within the space. So just to start off with, within the digital marketing mix, there's a lot going on, and what we've done is just try to define it into three main pillars. One is earned media, one is owned media, and one is obviously paid media. So in order to have a good digital marketing strategy, you need to have these three work together. We often get questions which are like, okay, can I just run ads and expect success? But that never happens. You have to have all these three forces working together to actually drive success for your brand. I'll just go through and define what each of these are. So earned media, it refers to any type of media exposure you've got through word of mouth. Owned media is the content you're in full control of. Paid media is obviously, it's a method for promoting your content and increasing your exposure to your earned and owned media. So here are some general examples of what earned media, owned and paid media would be. And what we've done over here is just sort of defined it specifically for your restaurant or delivery kitchen. So earned media can be anything from the ratings and reviews you get on Zomato, Swiggy, or your direct ordering platforms. It can be influencer, user-generated content that your customers or influencers are actually posting about your brand. Owned media is what you actually have, what's in your control. So it's a social media content you put out. It's the emails and the WhatsApp and the communication your team has with the different customers. And it's also slowly even becoming things like your menu page. So menu engineering on your Swiggy or Zomato page is actually something that you own and you can control. And it's very vital to actually driving increased conversion rates for your brand. And paid media would include anything within the ad space. So whether you have search ads on Google, YouTube ads, or social media ads. So in order to actually kickstart your digital marketing, you have to follow some steps. We can't just jump to create, jumping into start for jumping into paid advertising without actually thinking through your own and earned media. So what we've done is thought through a little bit of a timeline. So what if you are kickstarting your digital marketing, you should first focus on creating a strong owned media presence, which, as I referred to earlier, is say as your social media handle. After that, you should definitely invest your time and effort in building out your owned media, because especially in the food space, you know, as important as word of mouth, people rely heavily on reviews and ratings to actually make, ordering or dine-in decisions. And once you have all that really, solidified, you have a good amount of reviews, you have, say, at least 16 posts on your feed, you can then go ahead and start thinking through creating a well thought out paid media plan, because these all, again, I'm repeating, these three work best when they're working together as opposed to by themselves. So how can you actually get started? So based on our experience working with several brands, we realized that setting goals is very important, and goals can be set basis your business. So whether you have, say, dine-in, I have certain order goals, delivery, I have certain, dine-in, I have certain like covers that I need to reach, delivery, I have certain orders that I need to reach. Or if you're, and then it also depends on what stage your business is at. If you're in your first month of launching, maybe your focus should be awareness versus orders, in that sense. So if you're a brand that's just starting out, you're going to definitely have different goals than brands who've been in the business for long. So be realistic with your goals, because otherwise you may set yourself up for disappointment. Hone in on your brand voice, aesthetic, and tone. In many cases, we come across, brands who just want to sort of jump into social media, but it's very important to actually sit with your team, simmer with your thoughts and understand what you want your voice, aesthetic, and tone to be, because that's what's going to stay constant through the customer's journey, from when they see the ad to when they go to your menu page to when they actually receive the delivery, if we're thinking from a delivery perspective, so that's all maintained, and it helps increase recall for any specific customer. Profile your target customers. As someone who studied psychology, I firmly believe that this is, a huge part of creating a successful digital marketing strategy. You create content and ads for your target customer and spend time profiling your target customer, and create items such as buyer personas to help make better marketing decisions. So on the left, you'll see a small example of Tina Raheja, who we've created as a buyer persona. So doing this type of profiling is very important before you actually go out and set up what you're going to do in terms of your owned and your paid media. So before we jump into each of the aspects of earned, owned, and paid, I just wanted to share a small case study on how Rafiki Marketing helped Belgian Waffle Co.'s National Waffle Day become a countrywide sensation. So the key objective was, since they did it on National Waffle Day, which was the 19th of July, they had any waffle for just ₹100, a great prospect for marketing and advertising. So our task was to leverage the digital channels to create as much buzz and awareness as possible and drive actual foot traffic to the 300 plus outlets across India. So what did we do? We really thought through this, what the actual offer was and who the audience was going to be, and what type of content we wanted to use. So some of the key aspects that work was obviously having a very localized approach, activating relevant channels. So one thing that we did, which was interesting over here, was, since we did through the profiling understand that the Gen Z audience would be very likely to try and come into the stores for this offer, we leveraged Snapchat within the strategy. So think outside the box, think of channels others may not be using and where your customers are. Strategic budget management. This is again a very important aspect. So we did think through how we would manage the budget up until the pre-launch and then finally on the actual day. Leveraging consumer psychology. So like I mentioned, creating specific buyer personas. So you're actually, reaching the right type of audience. So that means that, okay, maybe we think directly someone would be interested in just waffles, but you also have to think creatively in terms of what are the other interests that go beyond the direct product that we're advertising. And capitalizing on video content. So using the undeniable power of short, impactful video ad content to win and hold consumer attention. If there's anything we've learned in the past few days, Instagram is becoming very video focused. So again, this was something that we definitely had to leverage moving forward. So the results were quite great over here. We saw the highest single day sales spike seen in Belgian Waffle Co.'s history. We were able to generate over 2 crore impressions, close to 27,000 ad shares, a really strong click-through rate of close to 22% and a cost per click of just 55 paise. So overall, this entire digital strategy, considering of the content, the influencers, and paid advertising, worked really well to drive success. So I'm going to now transition into the different aspects of media that we went over. I'm going to start off with owned media. So owned media is, you have to focus on creating a strong owned media presence, which is over here we'll use it for content and social media. So before spending money on ads, you have to ensure your social media presence is consistent, clear, and catchy. Having a strong social media presence will always enhance the impact of any money you spend, because Instagram has become one of the main exploration points for food, especially in India. So before jumping into just spending money, you have to think through this. Then once you have that aligned and you're happy with what your own media looks like, you can start assigning budgets from your paid ads to actually promote some of your posts to enhance the reach and engagement. I'm sure a lot of us have faced the challenge of, okay, I'm not getting enough likes, I'm not getting enough shares. So having some amount of budget just to promote your posts always helps. So some key tools that you can use to set your own media up for success are: consider planning ahead by using monthly and weekly content calendars, predefine content buckets and content formats for your brand ahead of time. So whether it's, this would obviously depend on who your target audience is. But again, do you want to get into how many posts should be about product shots, how many posts can be about behind the scenes? All of these content buckets will help you really formalize your content marketing strategy. Always be testing. Even since Instagram is always changing, it's very important for us to be flexible as well. Always try out different content formats, timings of posts, different types of call to actions you can actually have on your posts. Conceptualize and pre-plan your photo and video shoots. So, photo and video are one of the biggest aspects of actually driving success for food brands on social media. So think ahead. You don't always have to just take product shots. Think about integrating humans into your photo and video shoots, and spend time actually pre-planning for it rather than just jumping into these shoots. Algorithm changes. So Adam Mosseri recently went public about the shift to video. While this can be very overwhelming for certain brands, you can also see this as an opportunity to repurpose all the amazing content you've created into exciting reels and videos. So again, to summarize, plan ahead, create post themes, make brainstorming with your team a common practice. Anyone can have really good ideas. We're all consuming content all the time. So always, leave room for brainstorming with your team. You never know who can come up with a great idea, and don't be afraid to repurpose content. There's so many trending audios coming up on Reels, and if you already have imagery, it's a great way to repurpose the content you already have. So this is just an example of a grid transformation that we did before and after. And also just some information on, different calls to actions you can actually use to engage with your audience. And Rafiki ourselves, we have a strong focus on Reels. So if you follow us on Instagram, you can get a lot of great tips on content marketing from our experts. So moving on, after you've, solidified your owned media, you can also invest time and effort in building out your earned media. So what is earned media, and why do we even actually have to focus on it? So customers seek out reviews, and customers leave reviews on aggregators for 4 key reasons. One is risk reduction. So if I actually read a positive review, I'm reducing my chances of any type of bad experience. Efficiency, it helps us make quicker decisions when it comes to where should I order from or where should I go to dine in. Remorse, if you leave a negative review, you can make a guest feel like they're actively helping others. So when any of us look at negative reviews, we actually say, okay, we're happy someone has actually been honest enough to share this experience, so I don't waste my time or money going to a certain place. And influence, some reviewers simply want to influence the decision of others. This is where all the influencers that leave reviews or have great Zomato profiles actually come in. So what are the key tenets of earned media for your restaurant? So we sort of summarize for restaurants what would actually be relevant for earned media. Obviously, number 1 is reviews and ratings on aggregators. So followed by UGC on social media, and third, influencer content. So reviews and ratings are almost like the bread and butter, especially for delivery brands right now. You have to focus on gathering more reviews and ratings, because that's what actually builds trust when someone is making that decision. You can also creatively repurpose reviews and ratings to your benefit, whether it's including it in your social media or in your paid media strategy. UGC on social media. Encourage your customers to share their meals on social channels and share their UGC. You never know how much it even means to a customer when a brand actually shares content that they've taken the effort to take. So always think through that and try and leverage real content, because people are seeking more and more authentic content now. So it's very important to go ahead and do that. And thirdly, a huge topic of discussion is influencer content. Integrate influencers into your marketing strategy basis your brand goals, and also always try and repurpose your influencer content for your benefit. Whether it's doing a collaborative post, whether it's reposting on your feed, if you have that permission, using it for ads. There's a lot that you can do with the influencer marketing content that you get back. So these are just some examples from the internet on how you can leverage the power of ratings and reviews. So Good Flippin' has used it for their ads, which is, again, we think it's a great example of how to use it. And for a Mexican brand, it's an example of how the catering experience was, which was posted on their social media to, again, drive trust and credibility for that specific offering. You should also always think through creating a well thought out influencer strategy. So influencers are a great tool to help build awareness, credibility, and trust for your brand. But you can also approach influencer marketing with a two-pronged approach. One is from a content creation approach. So if you don't have budgets for bigger influencers, you can always opt for micro influencers who are actually amazing at creating content and use them to actually help you create some content. Maybe you don't have budgets to have a photo shoot every month, but these influencers can really help you create high quality content because they put in a lot of effort. And then the second objective, which a lot of us already use, is brand awareness. Think about periodic campaign-based outreach to passionate foodies and bloggers to build awareness and engagement within your target segment. We've also found great success in leveraging influencers for paid advertising. So leveraging their content for ads will always help your brand, again, because someone is seeing another real person actually use the product with the product in action. But again, I must specify, please take their permission before actually going out and using their content, because it is their content at the end of the day. Now, finally, we're going to move on to, once you've got all these set, you have a good amount of reviews, you've got some influencers talking about your brand. Now is the time that you can actually go ahead and create a well thought out paid media or performance marketing plan, as some people refer to it as. So what is paid media performance marketing? It's just a comprehensive term for online marketing and advertising where you pay when a specific action occurs. So whether it's you pay when someone clicks, you pay when you reach a certain amount of people. It allows you to target prospects with great precision on multiple channels and overcome the challenge of gaining exposure via organic posts. I know a lot of us are struggling with this right now. So again, putting some amount of budget behind posts and content always helps enhance the reach and performance. So again, just some data points to help understand why it's important. 30% of users say they've bought a product or discovered it on Instagram. 90% of people say they've discovered a new product or brand on YouTube, and 73% of the paid search market share belongs to Google. So what is the thought behind actually investing in paid ads? It can really help you with new customer acquisition and revenue growth. It helps you diversify your revenue streams and reach new audiences who then, if your product is good, you're lucky and you can find very, very loyal repeat customers. Data ownership and insights on customers. So as we struggle with privacy becoming more of a focus, running ads and running ads across different platforms actually gives you a lot of interesting insight into who your target customer is. It allows, if you have the ability to send people to your direct ordering link, you can also get a lot of your own data and then leverage your own data for marketing. And you can actually track, nurture, and optimize your campaigns every single day if you feel like. So based off our experience, the channels that have worked best for restaurants have been Instagram, Facebook, Google, and YouTube. However, if you have some amount of experimentation, budget, or the desire to experiment, we've seen some amount of success with Snapchat, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Pinterest as well, obviously depending on your goals. So if you have a Gen Z audience, definitely try Snapchat. If you're trying to do a little bit more of a corporate catering or something like that, LinkedIn could be something to explore, but you obviously have to, we do recommend talking with an expert before making these decisions unless you're experimenting with a small budget. So what are the steps of creating a structured paid media strategy? you have to go through these 3 to ensure that you're not missing any pieces. So the first obviously is planning, the second is implementation, and the third is monitoring and optimization. I would say that implementation is of course important, but planning and monitoring actually is the key differentiator in ensuring that you're driving success. So I'll just spend some time on each of these steps. So to start off with planning, so you start thinking about, okay, how much do I have to actually budget? What are some typical costs? Your typical costs when it comes to paid advertising would be ad spend, photography and videography, and if you were to hire a marketing agency, there would be an agency fees. There's no force for you to start with huge budgets. If you're a lot of people, especially when you're just starting out, you may need to gain trust in a specific platform. So you can start small, gain trust, and once you actually have that trust in the platform grow, you can even start with as small as a budget of 10,000 rupees to begin with. Based off of what experts say, the recommended monthly budget in phase 1 will be 2 to 3% of your revenue, and in phase 2 will be 5% of your revenue. Again, if you're starting out, you can just set aside a budget, see how that works, and then grow, increase that budget gradually if the campaign's are actually working for you. Then you go into actually choosing the right channels. So how we like to do it is you prioritize your channels, and then so like you'll see over here, in priority 1, we've put the key channels, and priority 2, again, if you have additional budget or if you have a specific activation that's limited by time, then you can start being a little bit more experimental with the channels you use. Goal setting, again, very, very important. So at Rafiki, we like to set SMART goals, which are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely goals. Having goals would really push your team, if you're working with an agency, push the agency team also to help, do whatever it takes to help you reach that end of month goal, for example. So a few goals you could set. So say month 1, you're just starting out, you want to have 1,000 visits to your Linktree or Swiggy menu page or any page on the aggregator. And you want to reach at least 1 lakh new prospects via your ads. In month 2, you want 100 orders across your aggregators, but 25 orders on your direct link. You want an improved CTR, and you want 200 new followers on your Instagram page. Month 3, you want 20% growth month over month, 40 sales on the direct link. You have a return of ad spend in mind, and you want 600 new followers. These are just examples, and obviously depends on what stage you are at in your journey. But we do believe that having these goals helps everyone work better and harder to achieve them. So here's a quick summary. We will be sharing the presentation at the end, so I won't go into detail for each aspect. But what we've done over here, started out, what does each channel work best for? So YouTube works best for awareness. Search ads are incredible for conversion because you're leveraging intent. Facebook and Instagram video ads work really well for awareness. Facebook and Instagram carousel ads, which allows people to actually explore your menu within within 10 to 15 seconds, are great for conversions and website traffic. Instagram post promotions are very good for engagement. So whether it's saves, shares, follows, and even DMs, actually starting a communication channel with your customers. And Facebook and Instagram lead gen also works really well if you want to build your database. If you don't have a database yet and you feel people are not actually submitting their information on direct ordering links, you can use Facebook and Instagram lead generation to build out your database. So often people ask us that if I have a lower budget, what can I prioritize? Again, based off of in market movements, Facebook and Instagram tend to be a little bit cheaper to start off with because it's less intent based. So we do recommend, if you have a lower budget, always start off with Facebook and Instagram, gather some learnings, and then you can move on to Google search and YouTube. So once you have, all the channels and everything you've selected, I'm just going back to this point about buyer personas, which I indicated in the start. It's very, very important when it comes to actually setting up your audiences and thinking about what content you're going to show. So buyer personas are semi-fictional representations of who your ideal customer is, and actually defining these buyer personas helps you tailor and segment messaging, and in the long run, bring down your cost of acquisition. So the best buyer personas are developed either through market research or from your existing customer database, understanding from your team, what are the type of people coming into the restaurant, observing that, speaking with team members who've actually had communication with customers is great. So you can actually, in the process of building target personas, if it's too difficult to actually hone in on one, you can actually have a customer segment mind map. So, okay, Are they Bollywood fans? Are they discount seekers? Are they frequent travelers? Are they Gen Z and millennials? Are they foodies? Are they working professionals? And it's very important to actually ask yourself more specific questions. Okay, what type of movies are they watching? Where do they like to travel? What type of jobs are they sort of working in? Because it will help you create far more niche personas that help with the advertising at the end. So quickly moving on to implementation of your actual ads. The three main aspects of implementation are: who are you going to target, where are you going to send them, and what are you going to show them, which basically maps to your audiences, the landing page, and the ad creatives. So throughout the presentation, we'll go over all these aspects. I'll start off with Facebook and Instagram. So Facebook and Instagram allows you to leverage the power of social to find new prospects and customers. We like to adopt the social media funnel strategy because you have to nurture customers. You can't directly ask them to, go ahead and order food from your brand or buy your product. So you have to sort of nurture them. We've seen much success with using the social media funnel approach. And this is just a quick summary of, each level within this funnel. So you have awareness within which you use like 30 to 45 second videos. Actually, you can even do 15 to 45 second videos that work really well. And who can you actually show this to at the awareness stage? So Facebook has an amazing audience creation tool called lookalike audiences, where if you have at least 200 points of your own data, you can actually upload it into Instagram while they follow all the privacy regulations and target a customer who looks alike or similar to that audience. So in India, this works incredibly because you put in data like email, phone number, name, city they live in. So we definitely recommend testing out lookalike audiences within your paid media strategy. Moving on to engagement, this is when you try and subtly push towards your existing customers who may have watched some part of your video, retarget them with a little bit of post promotion and DM based ads. Then when it comes to actually taking action, when you want someone to order your product, you can show them something like carousel or video ads, which basically takes them through your entire, you can take them through your best selling dishes, your monsoon specials, your Rakhi specials, any of that. And we've sort of defined what each, within each level, what would the objective be. So we do get a lot of questions when it comes to paid advertising. So we're just going to take you through them. So where do I direct my ads to? We get this question very often, and this is completely dependent on what your goal is. So if you're a delivery focused brand, you have many options. You can send them directly to Swiggy, directly to Zomato. You can take them to Thrive or DotPay or wherever you have your direct ordering. Or you can actually consider sending them to your Linktree. And why Linktree? Because ultimately we don't know we're not always sure what our customer is most comfortable with. So maybe they prefer ordering on Zomato because they have Zomato Pro. Maybe they want to order on Swiggy because they paid for Swiggy One. If they're a loyal customer, they'll be more than willing to order on, say, Thrive or DotPay. So these are your options. And then for dine-in, you can even send them either to the Zomato booking page or send them directly to your WhatsApp or to call you to make a reservation. So with a few brands that we've worked with, we have seen that actually moving to a Linktree approach rather than forcing customers into one of the three, landing pages has helped increase click-through rate and increase the end goal, which is conversions, by 35%. So the point over here is always try to think about, where your customer is actually going to want to convert, or at least give them the option in that case. So these are a few examples again from the internet on what a Linktree looks like. This is an example of Linktree of where you can actually tell customers that the ball is in your court, choose where you want to order from. This is the back end of Linktree that actually shows you some incredible data on how many people have actually viewed, how many have actually clicked through on any of the specific links, what has the click-through rate been. And here's an example of, say you don't have a website yet, you don't have an aggregator yet, but you still want to experiment, you can actually take people to your WhatsApp, to the WhatsApp link. So what are some of the targeting capabilities that Facebook and Instagram allow? Obviously, number one is location, very, very important for food brands because it has to fall either within your delivery radius, or if you're doing dine-in, it needs to be somewhere people can actually reach and come to easily. And you can't promote, like, say, distances that are 1.5 hours away from each other because someone may not actually make that effort to come and dine in there. Age, gender, language, demographic, very important. Again, if you're a regional brand where you want or you have a specific, you're selling, say, Bengali food, for example, you could consider targeting people who actually speak that language. You can also do gender targeting based off of, say, special occasions. Say for Rakhi, you would want to have a different approach for brothers versus sisters. So again, this is where that comes to play. Interest groups, again, now interest groups should be created based off of the buyer personas that you started off creating when you were creating your strategy. So we've given you two examples. One is a little bit broader. Broader audiences are tending to work better right now. So just generally people who are interested in food or delivery. And then secondly, especially I'm speaking from experience advertising in a place like Bombay, the vegetarian audience is huge. So if you have, say, Gen specials or you have vegetarian pizzas, it's very important to actually show content to a specific, show tailored content to a specific audience. You can actually target based off of what their needs are. There's a lot more targeting capabilities available, which, we'd be happy to sort of shed some more light on. But you can go down to certain brands that they engage with, certain products, certain, places, certain TV, certain music that they listen to as well. Leverage your own data. This is very, very important. So Facebook allows you to remarket or retarget based off of any information that you have of your customer. So whether it's, how they've engaged with content on Facebook or Instagram, whether it's the data you've collected over time, you can upload any of that information into Facebook and actually retarget your customers. This is a really strong tool for targeting that we definitely recommend using. What kind of ads work well for restaurants? So over time, again, we figure out a few ad tips and tricks that you can use. Obviously, tempting food shots, whether it's, say, you have a cheeseburger, you have a burger, have a video of like the cheese oozing out, for example, have a video of someone dipping bread into cheese or dip. That works really well. Consider deals, giveaways, and discounts. You don't have to always have it on, but when it's topical, this is based in the reciprocity principle, where if you're asking a customer to do something for you, you should also give them something back. Again, if it's not part of your brand ethos, at least have deals or discounts once or twice within a quarter to at least delight your customers. Product innovation, again, a very underestimated method to actually increase your ad performance. Consider bundling your bestsellers, consider having lunch combos, because the more creative you are with your product, the easier it becomes to advertise, and the more likely someone is actually to stop and click and engage with your content. User-generated content, so utilize your influencer and customers' content, because again, as I referred to earlier, it works really well to build trust and credibility. Ratings and reviews, leverage your ratings and reviews from platforms, again, to drive this trust and credibility. And reel content. So again, as we move towards this video-focused approach on Instagram, repurposing your reel content for ads is incredible. Click-through rates on reel promotions are much higher. People are loving to engage with any type of reels that have, say, trending audio as well in the back. So definitely integrate it into your strategy. So just some examples of what it takes to have a good ad. Again, high quality imagery, a clear call to action, calling out the dish name, and having topical and relevant ad copy within your ads as well. So this is another example of where we actually took the data from the brand on what their bestsellers were, and we created a bestseller focused ad with the actual dish names, and just simply even adding the dish name on the image helped enhance our click-through rates. Another example of an ad that we created for a salad brand. Over here, what we've done is we've specifically called out the location that they were launching in. So again, it creates more relatability when we're reaching the audience. And over here, what we've done is used actual real reviews to drive recall and enhance click-through rate for this ad. So I know a lot of people do feel overwhelmed with the fact that they need to create creatives, but with Tweeto, which is a great software to actually create your own content, even if you're not an experienced designer. It's been created by the Pet Puja team. It works really well to actually customize your text, insert your logo. It's very easy to use, and we definitely recommend testing this out for your brand. And you don't need much design experience to actually use this, and it's a very easy way to actually get started with content creation and ad creation for yourself. Just quickly going over Google and how you can leverage Google. Google leverages the power of intent. So basically, when, say, someone is actually, have she's wrapped up work, she wants to order a delicious meal to treat herself. She's been watching Taco Chronicles on Netflix and really wants some Mexican food. She searches for Mexican food near me. It's very important that if someone is searching on Google as well, that you should be part of that key moment that she's in. Consumers are searching on Google now more than ever. Of course, people also search on aggregators, but we do see that Google is like an unexplored tool where not too many people are actually advertising on it yet. So we definitely recommend experimenting with it. Who and how can you target? You can target based off of location, age, gender, and language, similar to Facebook. On the search network, it's actually amazing. You can target based off of keywords. So whether it's biryani near me, South Indian cuisine near me, whatever your actual product is, you can do some keyword research on Google Ads itself and actually create a strategy. They have affinity audiences, which are similar to interest audiences, which could include things within food and dining, like coffee shop regulars, cooking enthusiasts, frequently dines out, prefers organic food if you're an organic brand, vegetarians and vegans. In-market audiences are very intent-based, so it actually takes into consideration what someone is searching for. So they have over here baked goods, candies and chocolate, dairy and eggs, fast food meals, pizza. So Google allows you a lot of great targeting tools which are more intent-based. And of course, you also have on YouTube, you can target based off of a channel. So someone is watching a specific food channel. Someone is, say, just give a random example would be Gordon Ramsay's exploration. Someone is watching that. You can place an ad specifically on that. And you can also leverage the power of remarketing on Google. So similar to how we did on Facebook and Instagram, as long as you have the tracking code set up, you can remarket to people who visited your page through Google as well. Just a few examples of what Google Ads look like. Over here on the left, you'll see few search ads. On the right-hand side, you're seeing 2 display ads. We have realized, obviously, over time that being empathetic towards your consumers is very, very important. So never forget that whether it's your communication or your imagery, just keep that in mind. And this is just a quick, performance marketing checklist that will be shared with you at the end of the presentation as well, just to think about what all you need to do before actually creating a paid ad strategy. And just coming to the last part of monitoring and optimization, we have just realized that this is a very, very important aspect. You can create a great campaign, but if you don't have someone actually monitoring and optimizing your campaign, it could end up just, losing traction and not performing very well. So you have to check in on your campaigns and social performance weekly. Metrics to keep an eye out on: click-through rate, cost per click, cost per purchase, video view rate, and number of saves and shares. So all of these are very important metrics to have, and we've listed a few benchmarks also near them. So with CTR, you should aim to have a high CTR. With the cost per click, aim to have a lower CPC. Cost per purchase, you should have a lower lower cost per purchase, because obviously that helps you scale easier. With the video view rate, you want to always have a higher video view rate for your ads. And as Instagram moves more towards content that's more savable or shareable, always when you're looking into your social media analysis, always look at the number of saves and shares you're getting. Be patient. Ad systems do take time to learn. The learning phase is at minimum 7 days. While you should check every day, you don't need to make changes every day. I like to say, treat it like your plant. Check on it every day, water it when it needs to be watered, but ensure that at least you have your eyes on it. There are several ways to optimize. You can optimize based off of audience, the content you're using, and even bidding strategies. Beyond the actual social media platforms, even internal data maintenance from yourself as a brand is very, very important. So in order to drive sustained growth, you have to keep a pulse check on key metrics, such as your engagement, followers, daily orders, and daily revenue. So this is just an example of how you can even, say, compare your month-over-month data in terms of how it's performed. This should help you understand how your content is performing. What should your goals be? Should you enhance your goals? Should you make a more realistic goal? And this is just an example of how you can actually track your own data on the back end. So this is a very important aspect that we recommend brands take care of internally, because this allows your marketing partners to actually make better marketing decisions for you. So on top, you'll see one which is for delivery. And on the bottom, you're seeing one which is more focused on actual dine-in bookings and the confirmed bookings and the confirmed covers that you see. So this allows us, we do this tracking on a daily and weekly basis for the brands that we work with. And it really, really helps us, either act proactively, make quicker decisions, make better decisions for marketing. If you're advertising, you get a lot of data. You get data at the demographic level, at the device level, at the city level, at the hour of day level, which the hour of day we've mentioned over here is because of scheduled campaigns. Say you're a brand that has late night orders available. Maybe you run your late night you would run your late night ads only from, say, 9 p.m. to 12 a.m., for example. But the way you can actually come to that decision is by looking at the hour of the day data that you get and day of the week data that you get. This is just some examples of what the Facebook backend looks like. I won't spend much more time on this, but you can see it once we send across the presentation to everyone who's signed in. And finally, just coming to the last point, which is retention, we do always recommend that while you do spend your money on acquisition, always consider retention, because it's 5x cheaper than acquisition, and have a sound remarketing and retargeting strategy to stay in touch with your existing customers on WhatsApp, on email, offer them new products, new bundles, have discounts, have some type of topical activations going through, and also choose a robust CRM system that will automatically add contacts from direct orders to your communication lists, because we do see that to be helpful. Yeah. Thank you. I think, Gauri, that would be the end in terms of what we have for now.
Thanks, Sunaina. That was detailed, and yes, there's a lot more to discover, but hopefully that gives you a good introduction. So over to you, Shevel, if you can take it forward.
Sure. Hi everyone. I'm Sheval Desai. I'm the Chief Growth Officer at PaidPooja. I will just share my screen. Just a second. Can you see the screen? Okay. Hi. So I'm Sheval Desai. I'm the Chief Growth Officer at PaidPooja. So first of all, thank you, Sunaina, for this wonderful presentation. I think it really takes us through how restaurants can increase their revenue. And now I will be talking about PaidPooja, using which you can actually optimize your operations and control your costs, right? So PaidPooja is India's largest restaurant management software. We have 35,000 plus clients in India, the Middle East, and South Africa. We have a team of over 800 people. 750 is written, but it's now over 800. With on the ground presence in more than 140 cities. Overall, we process more than 25% each of Zomato and Swiggy's online ordering volumes, and 9% of India's F&B GDP flows through our pipes. We have now a ton of large clients like Chowmin, Beer Cafe, Yum Yum Cha, Talapakatti, Apsara, Jumbo King, Lapinos. And having said that, we provide software to everyone, right from independent, small, and medium outlets to large chains, right? So we cover the entire gamut. We Our software has a ton of core features. First of all, which is billing, right? So it's the software that you make and print your bills on. You can also manage KOT and the entire ordering flow, right? We also have integrations with a lot of the online ordering providers, which I will cover in the next slides. Our reporting is actually very, very easy to use and comprehensive. We have over 90 reports out of the box that you can use to essentially study and gain insights into all aspects of your restaurant. And we have a very robust inventory management system, right from managing your stock to recipes, raw materials, food costing, variance, and the entire gamut. Essentially, we entirely manage your supply chain and your inventory on PaidPooja. We support all kinds of formats of restaurants, right from fine dines to QSRs, cafes, cloud kitchens, pizzerias, any kind of F&B retail is our domain, right? So we have a ton of integrations, right? What we believe is that a software will not be able to work standalone. Today, what has happened is there are over 100 different B2C apps that customers interact with to interact with your restaurant, right? This could be the likes of online ordering players like Zomato, Swiggy, or direct ordering platforms like Thrive and DotPay. It could be loyalty providers like Relo, Hashtag, Zeno, number of these guys, right? And at the same time, you would also want at the back end to do your accounting with ERPs like Tally, SAP, or all of that. So using Paid Puja, all your data can actually directly get pushed into all of these platforms, right? And from Zomato and Swiggy, you can actually get all the ordering into Paid Puja. You can also manage your complete menu from Paid Puja itself. We also have a number of add-ons, including Captain Ordering app, which allows your servers to take orders at the table. We can make your online ordering website for you, kiosk, loyalty. So essentially, we cover the entire spectrum of products that is required to manage and run your restaurant. Right. The most important part of integration is managing your online ordering channels. First of all, we've gotten the highest score in given by Zomato, which is the excellent tier. We've gotten 9.16 on 10, which means that our integration works great. Right? It's further proof that it works great. The score has been provided to us by Zomato. We also allow you to build your own online ordering website in under 30 minutes. Your menu will go live. Your customers can start ordering. It's honestly a piece of cake, right? We also allow you to reconcile orders. This is actually very important because a lot of the times you don't know actually whether the order that you have delivered is actually you've gotten a payout for it or not. So with online ordering reconciliation system, you can actually upload your entire payout report, we match it to the orders, and you can actually check whether the payout contains those orders or not. And we follow completely open ecosystem philosophy, which allows you to manage multiple online ordering channels on a single dashboard, right? Paid Puja is a very innovative company. We keep coming up with new innovations in the field to help our restaurant partners scale. And our paid first of all is the dynamic reports. What the dynamic reports allow you to do is essentially you can go and just a second, guys. Sorry. So with the dynamic reports, you can actually create a completely custom report. This allows you to get insights into the data in a way that you want. You're not constrained by the kind of reports that we have out of the box. But even then, if you want to see a 3D visualization of your data, or if you want to see, how your menu items are mapping up, right? If you want to see item correlations, cohorts, anything, you can create a completely custom system there. We also have a waiter calling device, which is actually a small device kept on the table, on the customer table, on your dining table, which essentially there are three buttons on it: waiter, water, and bill. When a customer presses this button, a signal is sent to the POS as well as the captain's phone. So you actually can manage more tables efficiently with less number of people. And we have deployed over 10,000 pieces now, and we're seeing great response for this as well. The other two things are the Suppliers Hub. The Suppliers Hub is a place for procurement, which allows all restaurants to procure anything that they need from a single place. We have over 7,500 suppliers with over 2,500 products that restaurants require on a daily basis. So, number of advantages here. First of all, because of the scale of users on our platform, these suppliers give us exclusive deals, which essentially allows you to get the same thing at a cheaper rate. The other big thing that we've seen in a lot of traction is sampling, right? So when you want to decide, say you want to get new pizza boxes, right? You just click a button. Paid Puja will get 5 different pizza boxes from 5 different vendors sent to you. You can then decide and do the negotiation offline. The second, as Sunana mentioned, is Tweeto. Tweeto is essentially an app that allows you to create graphics for your restaurant, right? It could be anything. It could be graphics for WhatsApp, graphics for Instagram, for Facebook, essentially any visual platform you can create graphics for. We have a ton of templates. So we have over 50,000 templates today, right? It covers all ranges of cuisines, right? From North Indian food to Chinese, Mexican, you name it, and it's there, right? Allows you to customize the text, customize the offer, and post. It is that simple. We have purposefully we don't have a lot of editing options. Our editing is limited to text. We have actually hired a ton of professional creators to make these templates so that everything is in order and it becomes really easy for you to share, right? So at the end, right, why should you choose Paid Puja? The first is we believe software should be simple to use, right? It has to be easy for your staff to adapt and get onto it. It can have 1 million features, but if your staff is not using them, there isn't a point of it. So the core of the software is simplicity. The second is innovation. So, like I showed you, Paid Puja, continuously innovates on new products. We keep bringing them to the market, like Tweeto, Suppliers Up, and we'll be launching one more really soon. And that's in our DNA. So, if you stick with us, you'll continuously have updates and new products to essentially improve your operations and your marketing. The third is support. So we provide 24/7 on call and on field support. You can have live training sessions as many times as you require. We understand that a lot of SMBs and their staff need handholding, and we ensure that our support team is always present. And the fourth is integration. So we have over 150 integrations directly integrated with Paid Puja like Zomato, Tally, and the likes that I showed you before. All of this is available in 10,000 rupees for the first year, and the renewal is 7,500 rupees. Please reach out. We really believe that Paid Puja will be a great help to your restaurant. And if there's anything, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.
That was really helpful. So for everyone tuning in, both the presentations are available on the NRAI website. That's www.nrai.org. So you can download them, and once this is done, we'll also be sharing the recording, so you can have the complete presentation with the explanation as well. So we've had a few questions from the audience, and we'll kick off. Well, one, I guess, is more of a statement from Sharad Katke. So Naina, this one's for you. Google paid search ads are expensive. Any thoughts on that?
You're definitely right. Especially search ads are more expensive, which is why we said that you can prioritize it in phase 2 once you have a little bit more trust. But the other side of search ads is that someone has a lot of intent, so that your 500 or 1,000 rupees spent could drive much higher returns as opposed to 1,000 or 500 rupees spent on Facebook or Instagram.
Okay. What was your tentative spend for the Belgian waffle campaign so that it helps us correlate to the results from Anuja Bondwe? I don't know if you can share.
So that was a bigger budget campaign. That was about close to around 2 to 3 lakhs of spend.
And how did you kind of measure the output of that? Like, because you did say it was very successful.
Yeah. So obviously the KPIs we looked at were first on our own, through the metrics that we had, which was, impressions, reach, saves, click-through rate. And what we did over there, which was interesting, was we used the same piece of content to really drill the message back to the audience. So we also looked at frequency. So how many times someone was actually seeing that ad. And then finally, on the final day, we looked at, the store traffic, the type of response that came. And then finally, after the day got over, which, we looked at the actual revenue metrics that came from that specific day, and the growth, since it was a weekday, looked at, the week-on-week comparison, the same day the previous year.
Got it. I hope that answered your question, Anuja. This is for Team Paid Puja. Great content. Thank you for the seminar. I've been using Paid Puja for 6 years, but I'm not making the most of the software. Where can I get some training and guidance from Adnan?
So, hi Adnan. First of all, thank you for being with us for 6 years. I know that now that the software has been in development for over 10 years, there is a lot of ground to cover. And so you're actually most people, I would say 90% of the people don't use more than 20% of the software. However, we would love for that to change, right? I can give you my email ID. I've already put it out in the comments. You can reach out to me, and anyone who's watching this can feel free to reach out to me. I will get a training arranged for you guys, and make sure that you can get to 100% usage.
Sheval, is there an escalation matrix for Mumbai support team of Pet Puja?
Yes, I will also be providing that on the comments itself. There is a support escalation matrix.
Okay. Sunena, is there an SEO for Instagram as well from Mansi?
So we recently did a post on this on our on Rafiki's Instagram, so you can check out our Instagram post there. But there's no direct SEO, but you can definitely help enhance. Your people are searching, especially there was an interesting article that said that Gen Z is searching more on TikTok and Instagram than on Google. So when it comes to the type of hashtags you put, that's something where SEO really makes a difference on Instagram. Our latest post does do a deep dive into that, so I definitely recommend checking out that video.
Cool. What should be a marketing spend for a startup on a small budget from Priyanka?
So what I would say, Priyanka, is that from a start, what I said, right? You can start off with say 10 to 20,000, which is I think a good enough amount if you're. And this I'm assuming you're one restaurant in one location. Obviously, if you're pan India, that number would change. But if you're you have one outlet and say or two outlets in one city, you can start with 10 to 20,000, see the performance, and then scale to higher budgets. But you can start between 10 to 20.
Okay, and there's another question for you. Firstly, great seminar. I represent an 18-year-old company with a presence in one city, and for reach into a new city, which would be the best channel to target for paid promotions and campaigns? From Narayanan.
I would strongly recommend Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Those three work the best when it comes to awareness for promotions, especially for a new launch. And like I mentioned, if you saw some of our examples, if you are in a new city, make sure to indicate put the city name in your creative, so there's a lot more recall and engagement with that, with the residents of that place.
Okay, so there's a similar question. Which platform gives the best ROI for ads? Is it Facebook, Insta, or Google? From Ashishul.
So, in our experience, because of the Facebook and Instagram tend to be a little bit more scalable, we've seen it from Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. How much revenue or sales did the waffles campaign generate on the 3 lakh spent on it?
I can't share that. Sorry.
Fair enough. Okay, so and then I actually had a question as well, which I know we discussed previously, which is that there's been a lot of sort of chatter about Instagram, and the efficacy of posts, etc. now, and the engagement that we're getting. So, what would your feedback be on that, or what would your advice be on dealing with the sort of drop in engagement that everyone's seeing across the board?
Yeah, so I think that goes back to what I alluded to in the start, which is your own media. What we've seen really help is have a strategy for your content as well. So whether it's putting things into say content buckets, like I said, think about content that's more shareable, more savable, because that's what's going to work. So I'll give you an example. If you're say a pizza brand, you can consider adding say memes or something that's a little bit more humorous into your strategy, as opposed to just posting about your product, because ultimately you want people sharing it within their DM groups on DM. That's what's actually going to help you. And also, this is Facebook and Instagram's revenue generation model, but we've really seen post promotions and everything help. So commit even some amount of budget to actually promoting it to an audience who's relevant to you. So say you have your delivery kitchen in Lower Parel, drop a pin there just for 1 kilometer. So at least people who can actually think about your brand will see your content in that moment. But I think having a thought out strategy and a well thought out promotion approach will help you enhance your reach. And like we said, repurposing your content. Don't be overwhelmed by this whole video thing. It's fine. Just see what you have and repurpose it. There's no reason to feel stressed by his big statements.
How can we direct sales on Zomato for a cloud kitchen based brand?
So also, I mean, one part that we didn't go over here, but Zomato also has ads themselves that they allow you to buy into. If Zomato is your priority, I recommend spending some amount of money on Zomato ads itself, and also on through your advertising platforms, whether it's getting people through Facebook ads. And if you already have a database, Priyanka, I'm not sure, but you can actually start doing a little bit of WhatsApp marketing as well, but take people directly to your Zomato link over there. And another thing within Zomato that they'll also help you with, if you have a good Zomato rep, ads and also offers. They'll always tell you, these are the specific offers that help. So 30% off up to 150, whatever it is that works for you from a revenue and costing perspective, try and opt into those, because Zomato tends to show those brands a little bit more than brands that don't have deals.
Sorry. There's another question again for advertisement, Google ads or Instagram, which one's better? I think Sunaina's covered that Instagram and Facebook are definitely stronger.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
Sorry, just to add, I will say Google Ads. I started my career with Google Ads. I still think it's really, really strong in terms of the intent that you get, but you may not always have the biggest, audience coming from there. So our feedback is always, if you have enough budget, diversify your channels and see what works for you. But just in terms of scalability, we find that Instagram, and especially if you have just one location, Instagram and Facebook tend to be a little bit more scalable.
Thank you, Sunaina, for this session. I would like to have your feedback for a hill station restaurant when it comes to selecting the target audience. I'm not sure what the question is, but I'm guessing it's how you target the potential customers.
So, I'm not sure, Amit, which hill station you're referring to, but assuming that a hill station, generates people who travel from a specific place, consider that into your targeting when you're trying to target audiences. Try and get yourselves on lists for that specific hill station restaurant. Ensure that, I'm not like, say I'm just taking a random example, Lonavala and Bombay. If you have that, you can think about targeting people who are maybe, searching for restaurants in Lonavala within Mumbai itself. So you can try and sort of activate that. I'd have to have a little bit more detail to give you a response that I am happy with, but you can definitely reach out to me on my email, which is on the deck to ask.
Can you share a bit more on WhatsApp promotions, please?
So I think that what you need to think through, again, what we found works really well is, even with your WhatsApp promotion, have a plan in place. Think about okay, I'm going to reach out to my audiences 3 times. What am I going to reach out to them with? One can be a little bit sales focused. One can be a little bit more value adding. You don't always have to target your consumer saying order. Say that, okay, we have, best dishes for your sun sign, for example. Even content like that will help you, break the clutter. Sometimes even your customers want to get fun content from you. So plan ahead, have diversified content that's going to your customer. And also, even then, I'm sorry to say this, but use video, because again, video helps. People are more likely to forward videos on different groups that they're a part of. So just consider that.
So speaking of that diversified content, the question is, how do we balance our Instagram grid with reels and carousels and posts?
So this is the question of the week. Instagram is going on saying that reels are going to become a majority of it, but we do understand that that's not, quite possible. So we like to at least have, I would say at least 50% of your posts should be video, and then you can split the rest with carousels and single image, say your product imagery that you have. Another really easy way to make your static content into video is by making them GIFs. So it's quite easy, but it's again moving. It uses that. And if you're using even direct posts, add some music from the music section on Instagram, because all of us are now just attuned to having some type of sound when we're scrolling on Instagram. It can be annoying at times, but just try and leverage that as much as you can. And what we recommend to all our clients is any new offer Instagram gives you in terms of a feature, just jump on it and leverage it, because the first users always get first mover advantage.
I actually
features actually. Just that's my follow-up question out of curiosity.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
No, I was saying, how would one know what these new features are?
We follow, Instagram can announce it, or you can follow Rafiki. We usually share them on our feed. I would say most experts would know what's happening on a daily basis. I also recommend following the Instagram, people from the Instagram team. There are great resources like online resources, WordStream, Later Media. All of them tend to be the, giving you that information quite in a timely fashion. Sorry, Cheryl, you were saying something?
Yeah. So,
Sorry, I wanted to ask. See, a lot of people, I think, get stopped by the fact that they think they might need to do a very professional kind of video or a shoot to, post. And people fret a lot about the quality of content, right, and the professionalism of the content that they're putting out, right. And so, have you seen UGC or even things taken from your phone work really well, or do you need to spend those bucks that you need to for professional content?
So I do definitely recommend that, you should have at least one photo shoot that takes you over 2 to 3 months, because we've seen when you use like even for your menu pages, right, where I was saying your own media, the product imagery is what's going to sell how it works. So I don't think you can rely completely on iPhones, but for your daily content posting, I think you can, if you have like a good quality phone that's taking, high, like a lot of the Samsung Galaxy, Google Pixel, a lot of them, if you have a good quality phone that's taking that, you can definitely use it. But on that point, UGC, I think, and if you're framing UGC in a smart way, like say you make it into a video with a nice cover image, see how much our customers loved it, something like that, you can always try and integrate it into your feed. And that's why we say don't shy away from using your users' content, because they've also put in some amount of effort to actually create it for you.
So Naina, I have a question. You've been saying videos, the format du jour, right? So that's what everyone's focusing on. But Instagram has the video format and the reels, right? So which sort of are videos not as relevant as reels?
So they've actually gotten rid of, or they're moving towards getting rid of the entire other angle of videos. So it's going to be reels and videos will be combined under one. But even then, I have my own food blog. So I did an experiment with myself on posting very similar content in that video format versus reels. And the reels just outperformed any type of like the same video, like the original video that they used to have.
Okay, another question. Oh, asking me what is my social media strategy? I have none. I just personally I post whatever I feel like. So I'm the worst person to ask. But for our brands, Sunaina is probably the right person. But I mean, one thing I would say is that you can't have something that's just a copy paste across different brands. It really has to be tailored to your product, to your demographic, that your TG, and just I think more than anything else, it's also about what the brand voice is, right? So you could be a pizza brand which is lots of fun and sort of targeting a younger audience, or more meme sort of centric, and then you could be a fine dining restaurant which is a slightly more sophisticated kind of imagery content and tone of voice, right? So I don't think it's one size fits all. um, I don't know if that answered your question, but there's another one here. For cloud kitchens, can ads only on Swiggy and Zomato help, as scroll visibility is important?
Yeah. So in our experience, there is much value in running ads on Swiggy and Zomato. But one thing that we feel is not as great is that the level of insight you get in terms of what are people actually searching for, what is that type of information coming from it, is not as detailed as what you get on self-serve platforms. However, if you are starting out, I definitely do recommend, investing that amount in Swiggy and Zomato to at least start with, see where that gets you. Like with some brands, we started with just say 10,000 on Swiggy, just to understand, okay, in month one, what was the type of response that we got. But again, I'm always a proponent of diversifying your channels, so that now tomorrow, if you're running an ad for a pizza brand, say it's a truffle pizza, just an example. Someone's seen an ad on Instagram for truffle pizza. Now, when they come on Zomato, they've been primed at the back of their head. You search for truffle pizza and your ad shows up again. You're thinking through their journey. So if you have budgets, try and diversify. But if you're just starting out, maybe start off with a higher budget on Swiggy and Zomato and a small post promotion budget. It depends on your brand. Again, this is something we'd be happy to have a detailed conversation on.
Just one thing I want to add, actually, as an afterthought to that earlier question about strategy, is that what I've noticed with our sort of F&B brands, whether it's the restaurants or delivery ones, people love BTS, right? They often see the product. That's what they have access to when they either dine with you or through other users. But what they rarely have access to is the behind the scenes, what goes into making it. The team, they want to see, like Sunaina mentioned in her presentation, the human element. And we've seen those work most effectively for us because that's the sort of inside access in a way, right? So, and it just shows the human element behind a product and not just the finished goods. So, whether it's bloopers, whether it's talking about ingredients, whether it's just the process of making it, all of this, in the world of MasterChef and all the TV shows that we have now so much access to, I think this is definitely something that people should focus on. Okay, another question. Can I get Sunaina ma'am's email? Yes, it's at the end of the presentation, which you can download from the NRAI website. Can you recommend top 3 strategies to drive sales for a cloud kitchen brand? I think if you if you were here at the beginning of the session, Sunaina did cover that. So I definitely think have a look at the presentation, and if you still have questions, drop Sunaina an email. Her email address is also in the comments here. Sponsored ads help reach more audience or the daily general feed? Sunaina, do you want to take that one?
Yeah. So sponsored ads help you with both. So if you're doing, say, post promotions, for example, directly from the app, you will be reaching people. Your main aim is just to get into people's feed. But even with that, that is basically helping you reach like a larger audience. That's the main aim. But what actually helps is if you're doing it post promotions, they'll just be seeing your post. If you actually think through, like I mentioned in my presentation, okay, what am I showing them? A bestseller carousel. It helps you reach that targeted audience with a more specific ad as well. So I think it helps with both. It helps you reach a larger audience. But if you're doing, say, remarketing or retargeting, it'll help people who already follow you. But we always recommend, if you're starting off, try and reach a net new audience. If you already have, say, if you're a larger brand and you already have 50K followers, remarketing to your existing audience will drive the best results for you.
Okay, guys, I think that's it for the Q&A session. Thank you all for all your curiosity and follow-up questions. And of course, thank you, Sheval and Sunaina, for that really great presentation, which, like I said, is available on the NRAI website. And you also have contact details for both Sheval and Sunaina. So please feel free to reach out to them after this. That brings us to the end of this second session of the NRAI Insider's Guide to F&B. I'm very excited to announce that the next one will be on the 25th of August, and we'll be shifting away from the topic of marketing this time and focusing on how to control your food and beverage cost. It's the biggest expense of any F&B business, so it's a really important one, and so I hope you'll all tune in, and yeah, we'll definitely be sharing more information about that. So follow NRAI, follow Pet Puja, and we'll keep you posted on the details for that one. And thank you all for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks.